Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and Iman here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Roby, and MScribe, and today we got another Ordinals takeover.
It's Friday, dude.
Yeah.
It's time to recap the happenings of the recent moments in the Ordinal space, because that's what we do here now.
Yeah.
We've been fully consumed by this this ecosystem because
We're almost, are we maximalists?
no,
Or
I'm not.
enthusiasts
I'm definitely not a maxi. I think there's still value out there to be had.
out there.
You know,
Somewhere out there, there's value.
but as far as entertainment maxi, this is it, dude. I don't think
Okay.
there's anything more engaging or entertaining happening in Web3 than the Ordinal space. That's
Okay.
just my personal thought and opinion.
That's fair. So gold still has value then.
Potentially. But we're definitely not going to sit here and talk about gold all day.
No, definitely
Fucking
not.
Lame as F. So let's talk some Ordinals, dude. What's been happening?
All right. So if you watch yesterday's video, we talked about Casey and the renumbering, the renumeration.
The great renumbering, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's slapping like a doomsday article headline to it, right?
And so if you want to go into like deeper detail, watch our video yesterday. But yeah, that's happening now.
It is a big thing. And right now, petitions are literally going through as
they
we
are.
speak.
Like through retweets.
Correct. To basically, like, let's all collectively organize and come up with a plan. So
Yeah.
it's probably something we're going to have to regularly update on because, yeah, this affects a lot of what already exists and
Right.
potentially the future. So definitely watch that video posted yesterday.
Yeah. Another news here. So this one was posted September 19th. Writing a meta protocol on top of inscriptions. Are
Yeah.
we?
So Casey's been busy, dude.
Yeah.
As far as cooking,
Yeah.
Casey's been cooking. So we saw this and we're like, damn,
It's like, we need this.
yeah, we've been cooking too.
Yeah.
We've been hoping something like this would emerge, I guess. And we're in the same wavelength,
Yeah. He says, use a new meta protocol field to declare your inscriptions meta protocol outside of the inscription body. This potentially makes a meta protocol indexers faster, allowing them to skip inscriptions that aren't relevant,
Yeah.
as well as allowing general purpose inscription indexers to better support displaying and sorting meta protocol inscriptions without needing to inspect inscription bodies.
Yeah, so this is great. So obviously Track chimes in immediately like, dude, thank you.
Yeah.
Considering how much, Track is going to have to start supporting. I mean, there's a lot of meta protocols attempts emerging in this space. Everybody kind of has their own
Yeah. That's cool.
spin on how things should go. Yeah, so it's nice to have this new field just to kind of focus on that. If you're building a platform or something around it,
Yeah. So yeah, this will be huge help for all the indexers.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. We got a post here. It says, Ordi is possibly like early Bitcoin, he says. Peaked at $30 just like Bitcoin in 2011. Will you buy the dip, he says. So
this is just some really nice speculation here. But you brought up some good points of
what? I mean, come on.
what?
You arbitrarily put $30, $230 here? Come on.
What, dude?
I
What's wrong with this?
No, dude. Absolutely not. This is
You don't agree?
no, absolutely not.
Well, it's fun to imagine, right?
Is it?
Well, we did the same thing with, well, not we in particular, but the same thing was done with the BRC20 tokens because it mimicked DeFi growth curves as well. It hit $1 billion market cap collectively just as quickly as DeFi did.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of extrapolate potential, projections as a result.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, this is all human beings behaving within a market space, right? So it's kind of safe to assume, even though they're different markets, the same behavior patterns could result.
Oh yeah, I mean the behavior patterns are the same. I mean they're the whole despair and euphoria, it's that whole pattern situation.
Yeah.
And it is happening, but I don't know if we can use this to predict value.
No, definitely
price.
not. Definitely not. But it's good to know because the Ordi token has been on quite the retracement path for a while. So as far as there's obviously a tremendous difference between Ordi and Bitcoin as far as utility and difficulty. There's a lot as far as the economics of these two separate tokens, right? But nonetheless, still something to think about.
Yeah, I mean it's a good stab.
There you go.
All right, so moving on, we got sats, dude, 96.82%.
We're getting there, dude. So we've been talking about sats. We made a full video about this not too long ago.
That's right.
One of the more interesting BRC20 tokens, mostly because of this like distribution mechanism. It's been like 6 months, dude.
Correct. And the reason is because the total supply is 2.1 quadrillion.
Yeah.
Right. And the limit per mint is 100 million, which is very reminiscent to a total Bitcoin, right? 100 million Satoshis is one Bitcoin. So if you divide the two, you're looking at the max count of 21 million inscriptions.
Correct. And if you've analyzed the total inscription count in total, it's roughly like around 32, 33, 35, something like that million. So more than half the existing inscriptions are as a result of this distribution mechanism, right?
Correct.
And there's a lot of holders. The biggest holder count in the Ordinals ecosystem, period, right? So
35,000 holders.
Yeah, so this is kind of like block out all over again, block out 2.0, mint out. We can call this whatever you want to call it, the great minting.
Yes,
it's happening before our eyes, and pretty soon we're gonna see what happens when we reach the other side.
So are you gonna celebrate when you reach 100%?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely way more hype behind the bitmap block out for some reason. It felt way more.
Well, I don't know why.
Yeah,
it was like it has a direction. The 21. I think Sats doesn't have a direction. It's just a token.
But I don't see like a sat.wtf rolled out yet, like a countdown timer.
It's true.
So I mean, we'll definitely celebrate once we mint out. Yeah, we're gonna quickly take a look and see what's happening as a result.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're gonna be live tweeting this, so
no, or like putting out videos at 2:00 in the morning, like I did, like from my phone. I don't think so, but still, it's still interesting nonetheless.
Right. All right. So another news: Bitcoin rocks. This is the 44th inscription, dude, sold for three Bitcoin.
Damn. So speaking of like early mints, clearly, so now you can kind of understand why people are so pissed, right? Because look at that. Some of these early inscriptions are selling for like quite a significant sum of money, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think these early inscriptions are going to get affected by the renumbering.
Well, maybe not that early, but let's say, 10,000.
10,000, 100,000.
It is for sure potentially going to get affected by it.
Yeah, and 100,000, you're still kind of early. I mean, we're talking about 34 million inscriptions, right?
Oh, yeah.
100,000 is still baby.
You're very early, and this thing, it enters into the billions of inscriptions in the future, which it will.
Billions.
I mean, as far as NFTs, I think we're like at 500 million or something roughly, so.
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be billions of NFTs. There will be billions of ordinals, too.
There will be.
So, yeah, that only strengthens the positioning of these.
Yeah, there's billions of cell phones, dude.
Yeah. But you know what? In context of that, like, dude, like.
It's nothing.
If you're like 10,000, all of a sudden tomorrow you're 10,200. In the context of the future where there's billions of these things, I feel like that value transfer is going to be very minuscule.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
It's like, oh, yeah, I don't know. But
it's all about that filters, dude.
Yeah.
If you get filtered out,
that's true. Yeah.
You're screwed.
You get declassified.
That's right.
And you're fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so congrats to the acquirer of that rock, dude.
Yeah. So 3 Bitcoins, like $80,000 and change. So
it's quite a bit of money.
All right. Ordinals, what is this? Ordinal season? It says Bitcoin network faces congestion with over 470,000 pending transactions.
Yeah, this reminds me of like back in May or whenever March, April, May timeframe where we were literally congesting Bitcoin.
Yeah.
To the point where like those Bitcoin core devs were threatening.
Yeah, they're sending emails to each other.
Yeah, it's like, what do we do about this spam?
Yeah.
Right. So we're re-entering like that same congestion, and who knows exactly what you can attribute it to? Maybe it is the Sats mint, like people just really trying to, compete to claim. But
yeah, and BitGod here, he chimes in. It was like, this is Ordinal season 2.09.
There you go. There you go, dude. So more indication that Ordinals are not dead, obviously.
Yeah, so we have an announcement here by Unisat. They are saying gearing up for release of its BRC20 swap for an early public testing, which is happening on Tuesday, which is the 26th. This innovation release will make use of the modular design for BRC20, which we previously elaborated upon during the Ordi Summit 2023.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to swap our BRC20 tokens.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty big deal, dude.
It is a big deal.
Yeah, I think the community's been asking about this for a while. It's like, we need to introduce some more robustness, I guess, to this ecosystem. And Unisat obviously has a big positioning in this market and a lot of support, right?
Yes.
So here we go. We're going to see that maybe this is the beginnings of a DeFi era here on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Really?
Yeah.
Right away? Eventually. I think we could snowball into this, and because ultimately this is what they want, right? Because that's DeFi introduces a lot more liquidity potential, right?
All right, Archimedes. It's like he's got a huge update. And so we're not going to go deep into this. I mean, eventually we'll probably do like a dedicated video to kind of explain this update.
Right. But essentially all this is saying that they're putting out a little bit more technical support for what it is that they have been working on. Bob, Boss, eventually how this all leads into like Oshi and their own DeFi ecosystem that can be enabled as a result of this stuff. So they put out some new words, the semantic web. This team loves to put out like some really
complex nomenclature.
Some stuff. But at least this time around, they're giving us like links and sources to go do our own independent due diligence. It's like if you want to get on our level of understanding what it is we're building, do some research. And here are the links. So we're definitely going to break all this down. And once they release more documentation on the technicals, we'll look into it as well.
So basically, Boss without understanding these things, it's very not KISS.
Very not.
And then Boss with understanding is very KISS.
Very KISS. So go understand these things. Here's a list of everything they're about to drop. It's quite a bit.
Damn.
Yeah. So, and here we go, dude. Boss is still cooking. You gotta let the world know. You got Unisat and Alex Labs and everybody formulating their own like DeFi ecosystem.
Yeah.
Competition's heating up.
And so another one by Archimedes, very important announcement regarding Oshi and Oshi Finance. We at the Ordi have had a hell of a time splitting ourselves into two entities, Boss and Oshi. When we dive into the Boss architecture, our number one focus stays on keeping it agnostic. Expect clear details when we drop the documentation, but the TLDR is Boss is a public good with zero affiliations or biases. That means that when we're building the Boss tech stack, any biases that Oshi and Yari may have or need are consciously left at the door.
Interesting. So this is the nature of this post is basically...
Yeah, they're working on too many things. We feel that. We feel that.
They're working on a lot, and I'm pretty sure getting a lot of pressure from the Oshi and Yari token holders, right? Because these are BRC20 tokens that exist. It's like, hey, you guys are working on Boss. Is like, what is the tie-in from these tokens that we have to what it is you're working on?
It's like, we can't really do Yari and Oshi because we need the infrastructure to be built, and the infrastructure isn't there, so we got to build it.
Yeah.
So
we're building it.
We're building it, and we're gonna do something with Yari and Oshi. Hang in there.
Yeah, the products or the protocols, whatever it is that we end up building. That's going to be like, I guess, the value attributed to these tokens. You're going to be able to use them, leverage them within those ecosystems that are built on top of Boss, right? So, I mean, it's a lot. We've had Archimedes on the show before, so definitely, if you want to know more about what's cooking in that from that team, go check that out. Or you could simply check out this whiteboard image.
Yeah, this will explain it.
Yeah, this is all you need right here.
This is all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually commented on the tweet. It says, like, our digital whiteboards look as crazy as this, so that means you're on the right path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every now and then we have, like, a cook sesh, right, amongst ourselves. Our team is, like, just to try and, like, wrap our own heads around what it is we're working on.
Yeah.
And then we start to identify all these different layers of complexity, and then it's like, I mean, you do have to do stuff like this, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not easy because a lot of the infrastructure is not there. So then you got to decide, like, do we build it? Do we wait?
Yeah, who do we collaborate with to actually make these things happen? It is a lot, and it's a result of being like developers in like such a nascent space,
Yeah.
So they're trying. They're over there as a team right now, collectively cooking and planning and architecting. So
yeah, and that's a key thing is like collaborating because you don't want to like double up on like dev work.
Yeah.
You want to just leverage each other's tools because that's how we're going to make progress faster.
Agreed. Yeah.
Speaking of progress, Atomical's protocol drops in there, and they say 21,000 tokens have been minted out completely. So what is Atomical's protocol, dude?
Yeah, what's an ARC20? Dude, we got a new token
Yeah.
standard in the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, so we're probably not going to go deep into this just yet. We're still kind of looking into everything that they're doing, but basically, this the first CPU mineable ARC20 token Atom is now mintable as a block of height 808.512.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you are mining these tokens.
Right. So we actually watched the deployment of this Atom token, and I think I'd say within like several hours, all 21,000 were claimed. Maybe like 7 or 8 hours. I don't know.
Yeah.
Throughout the day, from the first announcement of this token deployment to absolute mint out,
Yeah.
it only took roughly a day. So that's interesting. For
Yeah,
many
basically
reasons.
you have to use your computer's hashing power, which if you have a laptop is not as good as like an Antminer or anything, but you use your computer's hashing power to solve a problem, and it's basically just hash. Make sure your hash starts with a number of zeros or whatever pattern that you give it, and then figure it out. And then once you figure it out, you've mined a token.
So it's interesting. This is just another token generation mechanism introduced into the pool of options in the build for Bitcoin space. So this one, I guess you can categorize as like a proof of work mechanism for token generation, which
I think, yeah, this is very cool.
it is
As
cool.
long as you set up the rules, like, whatever that rule is, hash it and start the hash with like a hex that you decide.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you figure out what that hash is, then you've earned the token.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
All right. So finally we have, their documentation here that kind of breaks everything down. So all the links will be in the description. I think that's it for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for everything happening in Ordinals. If we missed anything, let us know in the comment section below.
Yeah.
And that's it. Make sure if you find something that we should be talking about, definitely let us know, because we wanna see what's cool.
Yeah, we want to see as much as possible, like what you guys are building, and it
Yeah.
doesn't just have to be Ordinals, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't. Could be AI.
No, well, we want to see what else is building in, like, the stamps and ecosystem and ORC20. Like, there's a lot happening.
Yeah.
But of course, Ordinals is kind of like there's an industry forming around this stuff.
Sure.
Right. So that is the focus.
Yeah, and we are going to be looking at SRC20s and stamps and all that.
Correct.
So stay tuned for that. All right, guys. Appreciate you watching. Follow us on all our Twitter channels, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.